as far as when I say something to somebody and I know what I'm talking about because I'm an intelligent black man, and someone, especially an institution, feels the need to question what I know. I've written whole papers and done projects and all these crazy things and studied this stuff so extensively that they had the nerve to tell me that what my HBCU taught me was invalid. Oh, you right. I paid way too much for my education for them to tell me that my education was invalid, and actually I was going to have to pay them for me knowing what I know.
Did you get your bond money back?
Yeah, I got my bond money back. Listen, I wasn't going up there to play with those people. There was no playing with them. I was going to come. I was going to come, and I was going to step. If there was nobody sitting behind me, I was still going to come up there and make sure that I presented what I knew. I think that Gina was with me, because Gina definitely helped me along the way in getting all this put together. But there was no way I was going to let these people go on television and say that I was wrong. Oh, that's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. The same way that they wanted to prove a point, guess what? That there was a point that needed to be proved. Y'all are taking these people's freedoms and playing some type of game with it. How did the court thing go?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, showed up to court. I got there, right? And me and Gina were sitting there. This is like the only thing that is in this courtroom. We set all this stuff up. This was the only trial in this courtroom. There was like a murder trial going on across the hallway or something like that. And there's a murder trial, and then you know what I'm saying? So there's this judge, and this is like his last case that he's trying ever because he's about to retire. He was an older black man, and I don't want to speak for his position on anything because I don't know. But as far as it looked to me, it seemed as though he was kind of annoyed that this would even be a issue. I feel everybody there was annoyed that this was an issue because, for one, they actually pulled out a whole jury.
You had a jury trial?
Yes, jury. They had to get people to listen. They presented a whole case. I had a jury trial. These people, what else did they do? We had to go through all kind of like legal proceedings to where we were picking jurors and marking jurors out, and jurors were being interrogated, and like this was a full blown like Gina had to present her argument. She did great. The state's prosecuting attorney had to present his argument. It was not good. I'm not sure what the defense, the state was trying to even like prosecute me on because none of it really made sense after what they were talking about. So we get to about 11 o'clock and everything's rolling. And we start, we got our jury together. I think we might have either been 8 or 12 people, I can't remember. And we start presenting arguments. And then after that, we get to where we take a recess for lunch. So we go out for, this is long. We take a recess for lunch. We come back, and we present the rest of the arguments. The people go back and they do their whole deliberation, and they come back out. Guess how long it takes for them to come back out?
How long was the jury out?
15, not even 15 minutes, like 10 minutes. They walk outside, and really 3 of those minutes were spent getting to where they had to go to actually cast their votes for it. So 3 minutes there, 3 minutes back, 6 minutes. They were gone for about 10 minutes, so it took about 4 minutes to really talk this over and say, hey, he was arrested because he was black, not because he did anything wrong. Let's let this young man go. So they let me go, with everybody saying that I was not guilty. No one said, hey, he was guilty of anything. So they came back, told me I was free to leave. I left. I walked out of the courtroom. I was afraid going in and out of the courtroom because so many people had told me what they were gonna do in Iowa. I mean, it's only Iowa, but I don't know Iowa like that. So they got everything as far as for me. But other than that, I mean, they really didn't. Everything just kind of died down after that, I guess. I mean, people still kind of ask me about it. People ask me about it. Working on new ways to, bring awareness to the rights that you have when you're being stopped, what a Terry stop is, and things like that. I've been teaching, my friends and family and things like that, the different rules and, what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to conduct yourself and things like that. I mean, the aftermath has really just been that. It's clear. I've just been, living, trying to move past it. It's kind of difficult, though.
Keilon was insistent that he had done nothing wrong, and there was body camera footage confirming everything he'd said, and he also had recorded this interaction as well because he was uncomfortable with it, the way he was approached. So he was insistent he didn't do anything wrong, and the state would not dismiss the charges, so it did then end up going to trial.
Were the state's attorney, was that a West Des Moines lawyer, or was that the county attorney's office?
The case was prosecuted by the county attorney's office, by an attorney named Thomas Tolbert.
And prior to actually going to trial, had you received any offers of settlement that you remember?
I'm not positive. I think that the prosecutor probably offered to let him plead to this and just have a fine, pay a fine. But when you're dealing with such a low-level charge, there's really not much room to bargain. It's, all he's going to do if he's found guilty is pay a fine, most likely. So I don't think there was very much for negotiation because I was asking for dismissal and he was not willing to do that. Yes, Keilon absolutely wanted to go to trial. And in terms of his risk for going to trial, it's not that serious. He's not going to, owe a lot of money. Really, going to trial was more of a hassle for him because he lived in Louisiana and had to travel back to Iowa. That was the big cost of going to trial, but he was willing to do it because he thought what happened was wrong. The trial did not take longer than maybe 2 or 3 hours. It was a very short case. It was all recorded on this body cam. The interaction only lasted maybe 20 minutes. So it's a pretty straightforward case. The jury just needed to listen to the officer's testimony, which, he's just basically explaining the body camera. They can watch that and see exactly what happened. And that was about it. The jury ended up getting the case at the very end of the day, and they came back in about 15 minutes with a not guilty verdict.
Is that length of time usual or unusual for a jury verdict?
It's very unusual. That is extremely unusual because usually if a case is that straightforward, the prosecution will recognize it and maybe dismiss it, or you'll work out a deal where it's a lower charge. It's kind of unusual to go to trial on something that's just a slam dunk for the defendant.